Good morning, everybody. How are you guys today? Today is Monday, the 21st of April. It is Easter Monday. Um, and we're going to draw something. What are we drawing today? I don't know. Have I made a plan? No, I have not. What size page do I want to do? Let's do this pretty purple because Easter. Am I going to do a picture off of Pinterest? Am I going to do just my own something? Let's just do our own something. Let's just wander through a piece of paper, get a little um, just drawing out of our system, get warmed up for today. I'm going to draw today's, Wednesdays, and Fridays today, maybe even move on to next week. I'm not sure, but we're going to work on this. So yeah, let's just do it. I'm going to make myself a border here. That pen is running out of ink. I may have to change pens. Something like that. Get ourselves a border. This feels like it's running out of ink. Put that over there. My pens are on their way. Do I have it right now? No, I do not. Let me see. Do I have one up in here that I can use that's got ink? Let me try this one. Oh, that's way dried up. Okay, that one's not got ink. Let me look around for some pens that might have some ink. Let's see. Here's another O3. I don't even have any O2s left that have ink. Let's try this one. Aha. This one is a Staedtler pigment liner 03. I use what I have. But I have ordered some refills, and I've ordered some pens that I think might be good. I don't know if they're going to be good or not, but I've ordered some. I'm going to just kind of wander through this page. If you want to know what size this page is, this one happens to be a one that's approximately 4.5 inches by 4 inches, just so you have an idea of what size it is. I'm just going to kind of wander through the page with my pen, dividing it up into sections. Maybe one more here, like that. Something like that. Good enough? I think so. And then we're going to round these corners. What are we doing after that? I don't know yet. I haven't decided. We're just going to make stuff up as we go along. Just round my corners. And fill them in. Actually feel like I want to use a bigger pen for the filling in part. Good enough. So these rounding the corners is like you would do in neurographic art. But I don't think that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to do something else, embellish it in some other way. But I'm not too sure what yet. My fingernails match my paper. These are my spring Easter nails. Okay, let's see. What can we talk about today? What's on my mind? I have nothing on my mind. That's not true. I have things on my mind. I have nothing on my mind that I am in the mood to share with you guys. Sorry. Sometimes there are just things you don't share on the interwebs. That's where I'm at. But I am deep in pondering thought. So if I'm a little quiet, that's why I'm pondering. Got a little tiny bit of a headache. Spring is in the air. We had this weird weather where it's been lovely. It's been like in the 70s, like last week, until we had 2 super hot days where we were nearly 100 degrees, and then the very next day it was like 56 degrees and raining. It was the weirdest weather. It's like what? Like turning on a tap. And then today is only going to be like 65. Tomorrow is again going to be something similar. As is Saturday. Today is pretty partly cloudy. I don't think it's going to rain today. But it's a bit chilly. Did I get on my corners? Nope, I missed one. Here. Yeah, it's a bit chilly. Not cold by any means. Like across the country, that you wouldn't think 65 is cold. But it's cold enough for long pants and a sweatshirt. Whereas 2 days ago, I was so roasting hot. We took our walk. As you guys might know, we're doing this 40 days walking for Lent. We're doing a mile a day for 40 days. Actually, technically, as of the day you see this, that challenge will be over. However, we will probably keep it up as long as the weather is nice. But that day that it was almost 100 degrees, that was a mistake to go out in that heat, for me anyway. We really should have just waited until later in the afternoon till it cooled down because, yeah, that was a move I shouldn't have done. I just kind of aura this in a nice big aura like this, and then see what I feel like doing. I brought water with me, but I still almost passed out from the heat. It was just too hot. I should have waited until it was down into the 80s. But we also don't really want to walk in the dark. So that's the problem, is finding a good temperature to walk where we don't uh, we don't get heat stroke. So as the summer picks up, I don't know if our walking is going to be consistent like it has been. On the nice days, for sure, we'll go out and take a walk. Um, we may have to be creative with our walking. We did that a few days during that 40-day challenge, where we chose to walk indoors. Like it, we've discovered that if I go up and down every single aisle in our grocery store, it's over a mile. So we grocery shopped. I feel like I want to do maybe another. So maybe during the summer we'll do the same thing. Problem is most of the indoor spaces that are available for walking are also shopping areas, and I don't want to spend a lot of money while we walk. We just want to walk. We don't have any indoor recreation areas. Um, like we could go down to the mall and walk around for an hour. We'll see. We will see what kind of creative things we can come up with for our walks. Okay, I think I feel like I want to. I'm going to put stripes. We took my brother and sister-in-law to the cruise port in Los Angeles. Not Long Beach. We usually go to Long Beach because that's where Carnival cruises go out of. But they were taking Norwegian, I believe. That's what they were on. Um, We dropped them off at the cruise port this weekend, and so we went to an art place. It was called Handmade Marketplace or something like that. It's a permanent installation in the San Pedro area, not far from the cruise port. Got lost driving around. The sign was there. It was very clear. They even have like a city sign, like on those tourist signs where it says, the battleship is this way and the beach is that way. Well, they had one for this marketplace, so it's a pretty big place. But the sign said to the right, and it was right there at an intersection. So we made the right at the intersection because we were just following the sign. And turns out you had to just go past the sign and then make a right. How were we supposed to know that? So then we were up on this bluff, and we could see the marketplace down below. But it was like, now how do we get back down there? Because the roads were kind of weird over there. We got there. But it had all sorts of art and artisan booths. It was like a antique mall, but with craft booths, which was really cool to see everybody's handmade works. There was all sorts of things to look at. Let's see, what kinds of things did we look at? We saw handmade clothing, crocheted items, soaps, jewelry. What else? There was candle making and like little booths for the kids where they could paint their own thing and get them framed. There was a booth for a henna artist. She wasn't there at the time we were there. We got there really early, like right when they opened, and so there were a lot of the vendors whose booths were open. You could just either pay by scanning their Venmo or Zelle at their booth. Very sort of trusting, which was awesome. If the booth's not manned, they do have like volunteers. Like it looks like it's a collective, an art collective. So people are required to man the general booth, and so if you didn't want to do via Venmo or Zelle or whatever payment method that each vendor was doing, you could take the if you wanted to do cash or some other kind of credit card, you could take your item to the main purchase booth and just buy your stuff there. So so a lot of booths were unmanned, which was an interesting concept. There are places in this world that would not go over very well because, yeah, you'd lose your shirt, leaving your stuff unattended. But people seem to be doing, very. They were respectful, very respectable. Everybody in there was really appreciating the different art, and then there was like fine arts. There was sculpture. There were paintings. There were booths that had handmade greeting cards. There were some handcrafted food items, cakes and candies and pies and things. There was, coffee stands. There was a stand where you could pick out pieces of glass and put them on a substrate, and they would put them in the kiln and have fused glass. There was all sorts. I mean, you could spend all afternoon at this place. That was really cool. They had kind of almost like a food court. They had a spot where there was a lot of picnic tables and a few vendors that had coffee and beverages and small food items. That's where most of the cakes and the cookies and the artisan cheeses and stuff like that were. And they had on one of the picnic tables, they had puzzles and games where you could just sit there and just play a game or do a puzzle. And then in the back room, there was a bigger warehouse for the artisans who were doing larger things. Like we could have come home for, I think it was $7,000 or $8,000. We could have come home with a giant, like literally giant, bigger than my studio, or taller than my studio, not bigger, but taller than my studio, giant red chicken. What I would do with it, I don't know, but you could come home with one. There were sculptures made out of metal. There were there was just so many things. There was booths that had oddities, the kind of more I don't want to say dark academia because it wasn't really academia, more of that goth vibe where you could buy things in picture frames of like stuffed birds and macabre things with skulls and that kind of thing. I don't know the name for it. It was an interesting booth. The artisan who was there, he had his dog. We had a little chit chat about his dog. Cute little guy. He was very well behaved. Anyway, it was a fun thing. We walked around there, up and down, and got our mile in doing that. That was kind of fun. So maybe we can find more of those kinds of things to do. 1 week after church, we went with our friends to a park. But it wasn't a local park. We had to drive like a half hour, 40 minutes to get there. Maybe longer. Could have been closer to 45 minutes. But we took their dogs for a walk in this park that had a lake, and you could rent, those little paddle boats shaped like swans. But it had more than one lake there and all sorts of things. So we did like 2 miles that day. So we're gonna say that when the weather goes bad or we can't get to walking together on one day, that that we will make up for it the next time with an extra mile. So that by the end of the week, we need to have averaged 7 miles for the week. And I think that's good. It's a good keeping us fit. Good to I'm not sure I like that all. I should have done some of them different. That's all right. Maybe we'll come back in with colors or... Oh, I could do colors. I could do dots with colors. Like that. And then I feel like I want to give it like that. Give it that 3D look. But anyways, I really just enjoyed myself looking at different arts and artisans and what they're doing. One of the other things it did is it really reinforced, like pricing. If I were to ever sell my little pieces of art, my tangles, because I do give a lot of them away. But if I were ever to sell something like this, I would now know. I now have an idea of what kind of market value maybe something like this would be. They didn't have anybody doing tangle patterns, but they had, people who had small pieces of art. There was a lady who was doing mixed media 6x6, so 6-inch by 6-inch canvases with paint, acrylic paint, and cloth. A little bit of embellishment. She was selling those puppies for $120 for a piece, this size. This size. Oops. A little piece of artwork this size on the deep canvas. So I know the substrate only cost her maybe $4, maybe less, and a little bit of paint. And I went, wow. Now I do appreciate her time, her talent, and her choice of color and all of that stuff. But it was like, Lord have mercy. And then she had an 8x10 piece that was like $600. I don't think I'm in that level of pricing. But since most of my works take somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes to draw, I should charge somewhere in the $20 range. But I probably won't. Because I feel like that would give me imposter syndrome. That would feel like it was too expensive. But like a handmade greeting card, they're going for like $7, which that's about right. Just a regular like Hallmark greeting card now is, unless you do the super budget ones, are somewhere in the $4 to $12 range. And that's mass produced, not one-of-a-kind pieces of art. So I think I would be in like around the $10 range, $7 to $10, depending on size. Okay, I like that better. I'm feeling that more. I think what I want to do, well, first off, I'm going to sign it. And is it going to have a name? I don't know if it's going to have a name. Let me think about this. I'm going to just highlight this side of these. Oh, I didn't put a roundabout on this one. That one's weird. That one's not. One of these things is not like the other. Okay. All right. I want dots. Of pastel. Oh, I'm going to go with pastel dots. Let me grab my pastel Posca markers. Give them all a good shake. Just going to shake the whole box full all at the same time. Okay. Let's do a pink and a blue and this kind of peach color. Yeah, those are good. Okay. Oh yeah. Get myself a place to sit here. Okay. Something like that. You guys can't see it. But that's okay. I'm gonna I think I want a pastel colored pencil that matches these colors. Let me get out my giant book of color pencil and find me a color. This one's kind of a peachy, so that would be over here. Maybe this one. This one's called Macaron. Is that a good color? Looks like a good color. I want to put it in here. Okay, that goes good together. And then we're going to find a light pink. Like, what does this look like? Yeah. Okay, we're going to go this one called Pink for my pink. And then I need a bluey green. That's over in this neck of the woods. I think this one called turquoise green will do. And then this blue. We're going to go with this one called Aqua. That's close. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty, let's see. Something like that. That's much brighter on camera than this color is. That's good. I wasn't sure if that would be too similar of a color to this, but it's not. Something like that. I feel like I want to actually do that, which I'm not sure is a good idea, but it's what I've done. And do this one also. Like that. Oh, I like those. Okay. I'm happy with how that's going. I want this turquoisey green in the middle here. I'm just trying to go random. It's hard to do random. Random is hard. Your brain wants to do a pattern. And then maybe one over here. Okay, and turquoise green in the middle. Like that. And the blue. Let's do a blue here. And one here. Okay. Do I want more? Yeah, I want white. I think I want white. Or yellow. Do I have my pastel yellow? Where's my yellow? Where's my yellow pen? No, not that one. I want my pastel one. This one. Find a pencil to match. This one. This one called Cream. One here. Maybe one here too. I'm going to go with 3 of those. That one and this one. See, once I started coloring, I started not paying attention to what time it is. It's been almost 45 minutes. I'm just having fun. I'm just playing, embellishing. Does this have a name? No, it doesn't. I want this color over here. And here I want blue. Okay, that one needs something. We will go with the yellow. All right. Well, it's done. What shall we call it? I don't know. It doesn't have a name. I will have to think of a title because I don't know what I would call this. I really want to put... My white seems to have like disappeared. It's not white anymore. See if this gel pen works at all. Just to get a touch of the white. And I really don't know what to call this. If while you guys are watching this video, if you have a name that you think would be better than whatever I title this, let me know, and I'll change the title. If any of you guys come up with something that is better than whatever I end up calling it, because I don't know what I'm going to call it. I feel like I want wider joints. I want wider joints. Where's my 8? I'm just going to come up here, in here, and I'm just going to make wider joints. Just a little bit. I feel like some of them are too thin, like that one for sure was too thin. So we're just going to widen up these joints. And are we going to run out of battery? Probably. Okay. That's better. It needed a little bit more black. That's better. I don't know what I'm calling it. I don't know. Pastel pebbles. Let's call it pastel pebbles for the name of the thing. Pastel pebbles. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with pastel pebbles. I like it though. I'm having fun. It was a good warm up. Actually, it was longer than I anticipated. That's okay. All right, you guys have a blessed day. Go out and do something nice for someone today. Make the world a better place one person at a time. And I will see you guys later. Bye.